Bulletcast for life.
Get up, this is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt when you're
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, joined by the Canadian destroyer, Brandon Tanguma. We're back. Marlee will be with us via satellite, sprinkled. There you go.
Sporadically throughout the show.
Yeah, sporadically sprinkled throughout the show. Brandon, what's going on?
Nothing much here. Little late session Friday. Got a double header for my podcast. You know, it's a great time.
Yes.
Listen to Curveballs and Treasures if you want.
We used to do Fridays back in the day. I mean, we used to meet up in person. Remember those times?
Good times. And then, you know, now we got this little thing called Zoom, so we don't have to go anywhere. Great.
Yeah, we figured out Skype, and then we moved over to Zoom, and here we are. Love it. All right, outside the ring, Hornswoggle assigned a Legends deal with WWE, another person. You can get Hornswoggle in the Hall of Fame. Can we do it? Can we get Hornswoggle in there?
I mean, it's another name. I mean, Hornswoggle, I don't want to say legendary, but he's definitely.
What do you mean? He's Vince McMahon's illegitimate son.
He
was the Raw general manager.
I don't want to besmirch the good name of Hornswoggle, but he definitely is a character that's someone that people like remember, whether it's fondly or not so fondly. But it would be interesting because
former cruiserweight champion.
He's never talked really. Did he later? Did he actually talk? Or did he always just kind of do his gibberish stuff? So it would be interesting.
DX. Why? How come he didn't go in when DX went in?
Did he technically go in? It just DX went in. So does every?
Well, no. It was what Hunter, Sean, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn, who is at Big Time Wrestling tonight, ladies and gentlemen. X-Pac and China. Those are the ones that went in for the DX.
So you're telling me Tori can't get in, Hornswoggle's not in.
Well, they didn't go in with them. You know, that's the core of DX and those that went in. It's like when NWO went in. I mean, you saw who was there. It was what Scott Hall, Nash, Pac, and Hogan.
Well, they would just have to build a whole new building if they put in, the entire NWO and the whole thing.
That's true. PWI, the woman's top 250 was announced. A lot of names on there that I know, at least, or people that I've worked shows with. Brandon, how do you feel about the women's PWI?
Toni Storm tops the list, which was quite interesting. I thought maybe Rhea Ripley would be number one. Do you remember who number one was last year? Because I know they do like to kind of switch it up. They don't want to have it repeat. So I don't know if Rhea was
repeat. Well, Roman was number one for 3 years in a row, but that was understandable.
Yeah. So I mean, Toni Storm, she was champion for a majority of the allotted time period, so it does make sense. I thought Rhea would be number one, but Toni Storm, good for her.
Looking at the list, number one Toni Storm, 2 Jordynne Grace, 3 Rhea Ripley, 4 Micah, 5 Stephanie Vaquer, Sari is 6, 7 is Bailey, Willow Nightingale's 8, Mariah May 9, 10 Athena. Just looking at the rest of this. Trying to see if we can give any shout outs real quick.
Rhea Ripley was the 2023 last year, so
yes,
that just makes sense.
Shout out Viva Van at 53. Thunder Rosa 65. Who else? Let's see. Sandra Moon 86. Shout out Sandra. Jada Parker was 90. I feel like she should have been higher. That's just me. Yeah.
Tegan Knox 178. No, I mean I love Tegan Knox, but I don't even know what the hell she did this past year.
37, Taya Valkyrie. So ran into Taya Valkyrie yesterday in Stockton. Shout out. Trish Adora 140. Okay. Zara Zacher, the new West Coast Pro Women's Champion at 159. Congrats to Zara. Yeah, and the list can go on and on. You can go read the rest of it. Oh, shout out J-Rod 182. Love J-Rod. And yeah, like I said, you can go read the rest of the list. But congrats to all the people that made it. Aja Kong 214, the legend, lover. Yeah, but these lists, the PWA know they're always in kayfabe, and then everybody else makes a list. I've seen so many lists come out in the past like couple of weeks, so to each their own. Rhino is apparently going to be going into the TNA Hall of Fame. Was it Bound for Glory weekend?
Yeah, coming up this weekend, I do believe, right?
Yeah, so shout out to the future TNA Hall of Famer. WWE is going to be having a behind the scenes docu series that will be airing on Netflix. Obviously going along with the big Netflix deal in January 6th, their first night on the platform. So that's excited to see what can happen there.
Yeah, interesting. Netflix has been doing a lot of the sport. Well, it's more just like profile pieces on like certain athletes, but if this is just strictly behind the scenes of WWE, it should be interesting. Like we got little glimpses here and there on like the Peacock and network shows, but I wonder how Netflix is it a WWE thing or is it a Netflix thing?
Total Divas 2.0.
So it's gonna be. I don't know how they're gonna
Do
shoot it or
you
how they're
do
gonna
you
try to
remember
tell the story.
do you remember Breaking Ground?
I do. That's where I saw Aaliyah for the first time. Shout out to Aaliyah, respectfully.
So you think it'd be something like that? I mean, I think that was interesting. I wish they continued with that.
I mean, I don't know what like behind the scenes means. Like, what are you just gonna like? You're not gonna show production. Like, you're gonna show like maybe production stuff or like I just don't know what that means because they WWE as much as the business still open, they don't want to unveil the curtain like that much.
Yeah, they let you know it's a show. They don't want to show you, like truly how the magic is done and how the sauce is made. Fan mail, we didn't get any this week's SmackDown recap. Roman Reigns acknowledges Jimmy Uso. Jimmy tells Roman that he needs help. Roman says no yeet. You move on to the main event. Solo defeats Jimmy, and then Jimmy and Roman are left laying by the new Bloodline.
I think Jimmy is a much needed injection into this storyline. He kind of gives a fresh perspective. Roman can has somebody to bounce off of instead of just being by himself and kind of just doing what he's doing. So now obviously the wheels are in motion to OG versus New Bloodline, and Jimmy. I think all the love has been with Jay recently and for the last year or two. So it'd be interesting to see like how Jimmy kind of plays it up with him kind of being a real focal point of the story right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Jimmy does add a fresh perspective, and the little comedy aspect of Jimmy. It's always nice. But yeah, after they were left laying, Jimmy, told Roman, "We need help. Like we need help." So we'll get into what happened on Raw here in a second. KO comes out there. He was banned from SmackDown. Comes out to try to explain his actions, and Cody comes out there, and they get into a confrontation.
Yes, kind of strange how they're treating this whole KO thing. They're kind of almost treating it like a shoot almost,
I
but
well, I love that they're not using like WWE footage. It's all fan footage and like security stuff. I like that. It gives it a fresh aspect, a fresh feel.
yeah, I mean it's a different aspect, but it's like, okay, how many other times have we seen people like get attacked in a parking lot or like what Braun Breaker did to Ricochet, like just murdered him in the parking lot and did way worse than what KO did, but yeah, KO is getting treated so much differently. KO said he sent some video to WWE that didn't get released, and he said if it doesn't get shown on this week's SmackDown, he'll release it on Twitter. So obviously, we're gonna get some sort of explanation of why KO did this, but it's probably has something to do with Roman or Cody and all other stuff.
But yeah, I think we can all understand what's going on here. I mean, KO spent 4 years of his life fighting the bloodline, and everything that they put KO through and everything they put Cody through, and for Cody just to team with the guy that put him through hell for 2 years is KO doesn't get it. He doesn't understand it.
And the heels that always work the best, I think, have an understandable gripe or an understandable reasoning. And KO definitely has a reason, but maybe it's just the way he goes about it. Kind of like John Moxley right now. You see where it's coming from?
Yeah,
Maybe a little too extreme.
I know. Well, I mean, we'll talk about John Moxley. I saw him over the past 2 days. Um, yeah, and then he attacks Randy Orton out there. LA Knight retains against Carmelo Hayes. A good match, good match. But LA Knight, yeah, still the champion of our country. And then Naomi gets a win over Nia Jax with the assist of the Judgment Day. They were on SmackDown. Liv hitting Nia with Tiffany's briefcase. For a second, I was like, is Tiffany turning on her? But I was like, no, okay, that's not her. But yeah, all in all, Naomi gets a win over Nia and possibly a future championship match.
Possibly, with Bailey at the picture now, slide in Naomi. They did, I think they teased like some sort of not dissension, but just Naomi a little frustrated after her loss a couple weeks ago. So maybe I don't think they're gonna do a heel turn now. I don't know what's going on with that, but now we got the crown jewel stuff with the champions intermingling on the shows, so they're not. So now we're just gonna get like non-finishes and not Nia Jackson, Liv Morgan just bouncing back and forth between shows. Love it.
Yes, we get the big finishes at the big shows. Come on now, hello. That's it for SmackDown. We're gonna throw it over to Marlee so we can hear her thoughts.
SmackDown was alright. Admittedly, I did watch Raw before SmackDown, so I did watch things a little bit out of order, but we had Roman and Jimmy had a segment. Bianca and Jade versus Lash and Jakara from NXT. LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes for the US title. There was some Cody, Roman, Kevin Owens drama. And admittedly, I did enjoy SmackDown a little bit more than I did Raw. I did see that Nia and Liv had their face off on SmackDown, but either way, it just doesn't feel like they're having a match at Crown Jewel. Like, it feels as if Cody and Gunther are having a match at Crown Jewel. I feel like the priorities are still all over the place. Carmelo and LA Knight put on a good showing. I feel like that is going to culminate at, if not Crown Jewel, I see them handling stuff or finalizing stuff at Survivor Series. I say put the belt on Carmelo. I also think that Jade and Bianca, Lash, and Jakara should get a round 2 because their match was mainly interrupted by Kevin Owens and him trying to explain himself, justify his actions against Cody. But that's an interesting storyline. I do like how they're handling the heel turn in a different way, because you would have expected Kevin to turn on Cody after or prior to Bad Blood, but I like how they're handling it off screen and Kevin is being presented as like an actual threat, because when Kevin Owens is in his heel bag, he actually does decent work as a heel. And I'm excited to see where his character takes him. I wonder, could be jumping the gun here, but I wonder if that means Kevin Owens is jumping ship to the new Bloodline, if they are planning on setting up the 5-on-5 Survivor Series. We'll see. Naomi versus Nia Jax was good. Solo versus Jimmy was also good, but ultimately I feel like it was, again, more fallout from Bad Blood that we are advancing towards Crown Jewel and Survivor Series with.
All right, thank you, Marlee Marr. Inside the ring, Zack Sabre Jr. has finally won the IWGP Heavyweight title, but like 4 or 5 years too late, huh?
Yeah, wins the G1 Climax instead of cashing in at Wrestle Kingdom like everyone else normally does. He says, "No, I want to cash in at King of Pro Wrestling." That's what he did. Beat Naito for it. Naito's just so broken down, and like he should not have been the champion, or at least not have been trying to wrestle these like epic matches like he was trying, like he was 10 years ago. And now Zach wins it. I, once again, not super locked into New Japan. I pay attention, see recaps and stuff, but presumably he's going to be the champion going into Wrestle Kingdom, and they haven't done a great job building up their younger stars. So I don't know what the company direction is right now in terms of the next generation. As we'll talk next, Tanahashi, also the same show, announced that he is going to retire in the 2026 Tokyo Dome show on January 4th.
January 4th.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Yes, Hiroshi Tanahashi, often credited as being the John Cena of New Japan. How ironic, how apropos that he and Cena will be retiring the same week.
Yeah, it's a strange little dichot, whatever the word
Dichotomy
is. Well, I don't know if that word it popped in my head, but I just didn't know if that actually.
is hey Siri, what's the definition for dichotomy?
Siri's not going to tell us. Well, Siri will tell you, but then we can't hear Siri. Basically, it's
a division or a contrast between two things that are represented of being opposed or entirely different.
Yeah, it's the exact same opposite of what I was trying to say. Is they're parallel.
It's a coincidence. There we go.
A coincidence. There we go. Let's leave.
The coinky dink.
Let's try to use some easy words around here. But yeah, Tanahashi, John Cena, two guys who may have been destined for greatness, but then kind of lost their way, and then they eventually found it, and then now they're retiring basically the same time. And Tanahashi, like I said with Naito, also body kind of breaking down. He's not in this main event level like Naito is, but it's gonna be fun. Maybe he does get people to clamor for John Cena to get one last run. Maybe Tanahashi gets one small run in 2025. But absolute legend, kind of the last guy now in New Japan with Okada, Shinsuke gone, and yeah, just it's the end of an era, but it's definitely at the right time.
Yes, indeed. The Northern Armory is going to be running roughshod over TNA, total nonstop action. Josh Alexander, the former heavyweight champion, introduced Sinner and Saint as he aligns with them to, I guess, take over the show. Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, are you familiar with this? Do you know anything about this?
To be honest, not a whole lot.
Man, Impact is doing some things over there, man. Come on now.
I know, not locked in.
Got to be locked in.
I'm locked into Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. They're having a debut show this weekend, I do believe.
Yes, they are. Sam LaTurner will be on the call, I believe. Speedball Mike Bailey will be over there. Like they got a lot of stuff going on over there. I'm excited to see what's up with that. I was getting the Monday Night Raw of it all. Cody and Gunther have a promo segment together. Gunther calls Cody a great number two. Cody, telling Gunther like, hey, man, I'm not scared of you. I've slain beasts. We got 2 Brock Lesnar references on this show. Everything counts.
People go. We wonder maybe Brock is going to come back. Who knows? But it was a solid segment. It is kind of the issues with these champion matchups where it's like they're just kind of having a match for the sake of having a match, and there's like, oh, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. Which you might say, oh, I'm being I'm going back on my word, but they don't really have they're just getting paired up with each other. They're not like, I want to do this. They're being made to do this. But Gunther being kind of repetitive, I think he's kind of fallen into that lane where he, puts over his opponent and then eventually hits him with a backhanded compliment or a straight up insult. But yeah, we're what, 3 weeks away from Crown Jewel. I don't even know when the show is, but we're probably getting more. Yeah, so I know I'm terrible. I'm terrible with dates, but we're probably just gonna get more of the same. I don't know how much physicality we'll get between the two. They'll probably keep it somewhat respectful just because of the characters they are.
Yeah, somewhat diplomatic and dignified and all those other terms. Yes, do those terms make sense? Yeah.
I think so.
There we go. Public school education, guys. Jey Uso saves the New Day from Braun Breaker. He goes back to his locker room. Jimmy Uso sitting there is like, I need to talk to you. Jay don't want to hear it. And then you get on later on in the night, and Jimmy's like, hey, I need to talk to you, bro. And Jay's like, nah, save it. So, I big popped when I saw Jimmy was sitting in his room. I was like, oh my God, the boys. That when they eventually get back together and hug, that pop is going to be crazy. It's going to be generational.
Yeah, it'll be definitely be a moment. I wonder why they were just filming Jay walking backstage to open up his door. It's kind of crazy, like that just happened to happen. That monumental moment just seemed to happen at that exact moment. But Jackie Redmond or whoever was trying to interview him.
They be filming all the time. Come on now, the cameras are always rolling.
But besides that little nitpick, it's definitely planting the seed and overtly, and I wonder how hard they're going to go over this next month. But what we got there's four people on the OG bloodline, so you got to get Jay, and then Jay then leads to Sammy, I guess. So like, what they're probably gonna get the reunion sooner rather than later, unless they're gonna. Everyone's just assuming we're getting this Bloodline War Games match, and then it just ain't happening, or they find someone else.
I mean, the family's big. You never know. You
They're
never.
everywhere.
Yes, yes. They down the street from you.
Maybe Big Keith shows up.
He's in New York right now, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. What else happened on the show? Rhea and Tiffy versus Liv and Raquel ends in a no contest. Nia Jax comes out there, starts running roughshod, takes out Liv Morgan. Tiffany's about to cash in. Dom saves her, and then this popped me. It's not Dom time. It's Tiffy time. That was hilarious. I don't know why. I thought it was hilarious. What are your thoughts on this?
It was all right. Just kind of a show long storyline to kind of connect, the beginning to the end. This is a tape show, and Rhea was not on last week's show, so she was the focal point of this week's show, and it was a fun.
This was taped. When did they tape this?
They taped it last week because they're in the UK right now. So, overall,
UK tour's over.
Well, they were in the UK on Monday.
Okay.
But I think the show overall was like a little flat and kind of did feel like a tape show. But yeah, Rhea's kind of not spinning her wheels, but she's not like she's still going after Liv, but Liv has the match with Nia, so it's like you can't go full bore with the rematch or whatever they're going to do eventually with Rhea and Liv. So yeah, it is what it is. It's a fun dynamic between Rhea and Tiffany because they're so not only visually different but just kind of character wise different. So
Tiffy, the buff Barbie, as Wade Barrett put it, and then R-Truth gets one over on the Miz. I like what's been going on. Karrion Kross has been doing something. He's kind of changing people's ways, slowly but sure. It was with the New Day and what they got going on, and now it's with Miz, and then he just kind of moves on to other people, and then of course the White Six stuff is flashing going on. So lots going on in this story, believe it or not.
that was it Shane O'Hare was like the devil guy who like had like a couple vignettes and then it was
Sean
like,
O'Hare, yeah.
Sean O'Hare just got completely dropped.
RIP.
So maybe that's something they're trying to do or kind of using with Karrion Kross, and I mean he has his fingerprints, and I mean it's the Miz and R-Truth, and it seems perfectly fine. And then there's also like the Wyatt Six who kind of completely disappeared right now. I mean we had like the one little screen pop up last week when
Raw's 2 hours now, man.
when Miz was on screen, so maybe they're going after Miz and
yeah, the Wyatt Six, they go after people who turn on their people. That's what this is, and I like it. So if Xavier fully does turn on Kofi, we can expect the Wyatt Six to go after him next.
Yeah, I mean, but absence doesn't always make the heart grow fonder. Sometimes people like forget and you're like, oh yeah, the White Six is there, and then they're doing this like low level stuff. And
I mean, it's kind of hard to forget, what they've been doing.
I think it also is like they kind of do like a lot of these cryptic things, and like there's going to be a lot of passive viewers that just like they'll see the thing flash up and they have the QR code and they're like, oh, it was the White Six, and they just will completely forget about it like 5 minutes later.
Can't have attention span. You got to pay attention.
These kids these days and their TikToks.
Yeah, the tactics. That's going to do it for Monday Night Raw. We're going to throw it back over to Marlee Marr to talk about the flagship show of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Monday Night Raw this week was decent. We had some build towards Crown Jewel. We had some bad blood fallout. And we had some seeds being planted towards Survivor Series, at least what I noticed. Raw this week was heavily featuring the women, which as a women's wrestler in training, it's nice to see women get representation. However, I will say I did prefer the tag team title match to the main event because the main event tag team match just felt like it was tossed together because of the opening segment. There wasn't really any backstory behind it except that it was the fallout from Liv and Rhea, and we're now supposed to be setting up Naya and Liv, which the only real setup I saw was Naya interfering in the main event, whereas Gunther and Cody got a whole promo segment where they were face to face and talked to each other. So can definitely tell there's some different energies there. But again, the women's tag team title match was good. I really enjoyed it. What else we got here? We had Braun building himself up because he's got a rematch with Jay for the title next week, which I personally think is pointless because they just had a title match. I feel like Braun can build himself up as a strong guy, as one of the big guys, without having to go after the Intercontinental title. I would love to see what he can do outside of that, because it's already starting to get stale for me seeing him chase after the title every other week. Alpha Academy and War Raiders happened. Kofi and Braun happened, which that's something, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I would rather see him do matches like that. Like, he doesn't have to go after the title all the time. But hey, But speaking of the Intercontinental title, we had that little seed planting with Jay and Jimmy. We know they're going to reunite at some point, hopefully closer to Survivor Series, because I smell OG Bloodline versus new Bloodline. But all in all, it was a filler episode of Raw. It was just like, okay, this is what we're rocking with. This is where we're going.
Marley, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed Monday Night Raw. Or you hated it, whichever. I was going to AEW. I was in the building for some of this. I didn't see Adam Cole's promo at all. I gotta say this. He has to run smaller buildings, bro. Like, Jesus Christ, he has to.
I'm not a building guy. I don't know how these contracts work.
No, because if he ran
I'm just saying, like, these things might be planned out so far ahead of time, but like they have not been drawing consistently since like late 2022, or 2023. So, but I mean, I was even thinking, like, because I saw the Wrestle Ticks and said like almost 3,000, if not a little bit. I think a little more than 3,000. But it's a major NHL arena that holds up to 20,000. You can even tell, like, during Adam Cole's promo, like, if you don't know the building, it looked okay, but like you can hear in the audio that it did seem kind of echoey, because the tank is supposed to hold like 20,000 people, and it has good acoustics, but if it's not filled up, then you can definitely hear the echo, and you can hear it here. And I was even thinking, like, where, if they were to stay in the Bay Area, where would they go? Like,
bro, you got it. Like, you can do the event center like New Japan does. I mean, we went to that one where
yeah, but that's like almost too small.
but
I'm just like the in between.
When NXT ran the at San Jose State, the college, even do that, like, because like when they were
But those were all those. But once again, those were all house shows. Those wasn't television. I don't know how technologically how that would work, because like,
okay, then do the event center, because that was televised. It was on pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do something, because like, look, man, I mean, going from like, I was at that SmackDown and SAC sold out crowd. It was hot. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then you go from that to this. I'm just like, this is kind of depressing. I know I say my shit about AEW and all that, but like, in all seriousness, I got people over there that I like and I'm cool with. I want people to do well. I want the business to do well. You gotta eventually, like, just look at it and be like, okay, we're gonna go to these towns. What's a smaller venue? We can pack it out, and then we can make it look better. And then when business starts to pick up, we can eventually go to the bigger arenas. Maybe just run smaller for TV and then do big for the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, the Bay Area is like kind of a weird market, because like it's a huge market, and so there's a bunch of major league level arenas around here, but then there's not a lot of like like, I don't know the college venues like Stanford or Cal, but they're not like Kentucky or some of these like smaller venues that maybe are slightly smaller than a 20,000 Chase Center, SAP Center, even what the Oakland Arena. So it like around here it is a little awkward, because you don't know, you can't like run we don't have a minor league like Stockton. Like I know Stockton, they probably didn't sell out Stockton, but at least that's a smaller minor league market.
Brother. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. But yeah, back to Dynamite. Adam Cole's return promo, didn't see it. How was it?
It was okay.
It
I mean,
happened.
it's just they're in such a weird predicament with Adam Cole turning on MJF, the ankle injury. MJF comes back as a babyface, kicks Cole in the nuts, and they was like, okay, we're just done with this story. And then Adam Cole then comes back, and they're going so heavy handed. He basically Adam Cole is cut like that Kendrick Lamar Drew McIntyre promo, just like I hate everything about you, or CM Punk, whichever one it was. Just I hate everything about you. I hate the way you act, the way you treat people, the way everything. And then MJF comes up on the screen, kind of rebuts some of his statements. So it looks like we are getting this Adam Cole MJF thing again. It's almost like just
That's a
forget what happened last year. This is like
yeah,
a new thing.
that's another thing. Like Adam Cole's just a babyface. Chris Statlander is just a babyface. Like, what are we doing?
That I don't understand. Like I felt like Stat and Stokely were such a good combo, and then they just dropped it out of nowhere. Like I don't understand that.
Yeah, then like I mean, it's just like I don't understand. And like there were no like people people want to go to Dynamite. They want to see like Swerve, Max. I know people hate Jericho or whatever's going on the internet, but no, he's legend. They're gonna pop to see him. Osprey wasn't there. Like none of these people were there.
And
Like
another thing is like I know I didn't go to the show because I had work, but there was almost every time I go on Twitter it was a video of Brian Danielson like talking to you and like advertising Stockton and San Jose. I would assume they knew Danielson was not going to be on these shows for quite a while because that was like the retirement or whatever the case may be. I just that is one thing. Like if I was like a regular person, I just like saw like okay, Brian Danielson's going to be there. I'm going to go to San Jose. I'm going to go to Stockton. Then nope, he wasn't there at all.
yeah.
I mean, hell, he wasn't even like he was barely mentioned on the show itself, which is a whole nother issue.
And then I know they had like Mercedes there, and I guess they were banking on her. Get it? Banking on her for her star power. But yeah, BCC attacks Orange Cassidy and AEW. See, I like what's going on with this. Aura is the thing that the kids are talking about nowadays. And, I talk about how people have lost their aura and muster. Uh, since going to AEW. I think because Moxley went like on the first show, like he showed up on the first show. He is the one guy that has been able to like really maintain that aura since leaving WWE and whatnot. And I don't know, I like it. They're coming in through the crowd, a la, maybe a nod to the Shield, and they're just running roughshod and then they're leaving. I love it.
Yeah, he cut a promo at the very beginning of the show, and I thought it was really good. It gave a little bit more insight. He was like, I hate about, I don't like what AEW's become, almost a little bit meta if you're, a fan of AEW and kind of like where they were at the beginning as like a true alternate, and now they've kind of been like the worst things of WWE in the past. And uh yeah, they attack Orange Cassidy, they interrupt a tag match, and finally some faces appear and they beat them down. And later in the show they beat up Dark Order, Top Flight, and so setting up some tag matches there. But the BCC, which I guess is still their name, was definitely the focal point in putting them over. And it almost, it definitely did have that NWO feel, but just kind of more violent. And I'm I'm intrigued to see what they're doing because if End of Wrestle Dream. Sorry, I didn't do a recap. Wasn't feeling all that well, but they set up Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and then maybe some other people to like set up Moxley. I do think at the end of the day, or at least one of the key components, could be a returning Kenny Omega. So they definitely have the story built, and they emphasize Darby wasn't at Dynamite. He can't be found or whatever. If this is the NWO, like I guess Darby is staying and he's going to be gone for a while, and he's just going to show up and be the conquering AEW hero.
With that, yeah. Yeah, no, I like this. We'll see where they go. And I think they've been trying to do an invasion storyline for a minute. I mean, the Outcast didn't work. I mean, hell, the Bucks attacked Tony Khan, and that didn't do anything. So
Allegedly, they didn't. Tony Khan didn't want like in storyline the Young Bucks to have like a lot of control and power in terms of like what was happening on the show, even if it was a complete work. Allegedly, according to my boy Wade Keller.
Yeah, I saw Tony Khan a lot these past 2 days. Yeah, yeah. Shelton Benjamin looked like an absolute killer on Dynamite. Loved this. This is the best I've seen Shelton Benjamin look in a long time. The standard of excellence.
This, I would say, a competitive squash, or maybe not squash match, but definitely a highlight match for Shelton Benjamin. And Swerve also, cut a little backstage promo
He
as
was
well.
not there. That was not backstage there.
I do remember, I do know that they did a promo last week at because they were supposed to be in Spokane last week, and they did a backstage thing with Jericho, and I was like, because my boy Dominic's from Spokane, I was like, oh, I was wonder like what the backstage area looks like, and like right next to Rocky Romero, there's a giant Pittsburgh logo, not logo, but like a cat, and I'm like, I don't think Spokane has cats, but the Pittsburgh Panthers, so yeah, they definitely do like doing backstage segments that are not actually backstage, but we're getting Shelton and Swerve on Halloween or from 2 weeks from now, and it makes sense. I think you should have Swerve win. Like I get it. Shelton is talented, but it's 2024, not 2004. And I think you have Shelton lose to
Stop that.
Swerve to then
Stop that.
have Lashley be the eventual, big opponent for Swerve.
Shelton Benjamin is still he that guy. He's still that guy. Don't do that. Don Callis press conference. Why did Lance Archer look like Drew McIntyre? Why did he look what are we doing? He looked like 2018 Drew McIntyre.
I'm not locked into ROH or Collision. No idea that Brian Cage was down with Don Callis. That's new. That was news to me.
Brother, I'll mention that. Oh jeez. But yeah, why is he looking like that? What happened to the
Well,
braid?
it's like
He,
Eric Young and Dana Bryan back in the day. If you just copycat, you know, the what's going on in the other company.
when did they do that?
Well, I mean, Eric Young didn't look like Dana Bryan, but he was the short guy with the beard, and then he became champion like 2 weeks later or a week later.
Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, you said Eric Young. I was thinking Eric Rowan. I don't know why. I was thinking like their tag team. They copied somebody. I'm sorry. Oh Jesus. Yeah, the Christian Cage defeated Jay White. You know I love me some Christian Cage. You know I love me some Christian Cage.
Do you like some Christian Cage?
Love him. Great father. He's a great father, man. Can't wait for Father's Day to get him a gift,
I bet he's going to get a lot of gifts on Father's Day.
as he should. It's fantastic.
Father of many children.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean the show itself was like fine, but definitely the overall the big news, the big stuff was definitely the Moxley faction, and they gave you just enough to where you get some new information, but we still don't know. There's definitely we haven't even seen the belt, so I don't know if they're going to do something with the belt.
Is it
If
in the
they're,
briefcase?
I would assume it's in the briefcase. They put it in the little baggie, and then Pac has, which is I guess his gimmick, is he just whacked people with the briefcase.
Well,
He's like,
spoiler alert: Marina Shafir whacked people with the briefcase on Collision.
oh, dang, they're just passing that thing around.
Yeah, yeah. We'll let Marley talk about Dynamite before I get into what happened at Collision and Battle of the Belts.
This past Wednesday, AEW rolled into town. Dynamite was at the SAP Center in San Jose, California. Myself and Philip were there. It was a decent show. I was actually seated right behind the timekeepers, right where Justin Roberts sits, so I got pretty good view of everything and everyone that was happening for the most part. Adam Cole returned and explained his actions at Wrestle Dream. We had a tag team match with FTR, Big Bill and Brian Keith. We had Mercedes Moné versus Queen Aminata. And the Elite versus the Conglomeration, Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, which was personally my favorite match of the night. I just wish there could have been a clean finish on that one, because that could have been something good. We had Shelton Benjamin versus Leo Rush, which was also a good match. It was Shelton Benjamin's debut match in AEW, so that was cool. Then the main event was Jay White versus Christian Cage. Overall, it was a decent show. I really enjoyed that I got to see Jay White and Okada wrestle in person for the first time. And also, again, the six-man tag, the conglomeration versus Young Bucks and Okada was a favorite of mine. But overall, I had a good time. The Rampage taping happened, and the Ring of Honor taping also happened. But good way to spend a Wednesday night.
All right, thank you, Marlee. Yeah, so I went over there to Stockton. Yeah, man, Collision happened. They a lot of things that just it. First of all, the arena was empty. There were a lot of seat fillers over there, man. Like a lot of people were given free tickets to go kind of fill up the seats to make it look big, look like there were people in there, and that I was just like, Jesus Christ. That's not good. That's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. But Collision, Ricochet he had a really good match with AR Fox. Does not need to be talking on the microphone. Does not need to be talking on the microphone at all. I'm sorry. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah. BCC defended the trios titles, and then what you call it? They're beating down people. And then Dark Order comes out there, and then they put them on the line against them. Moxley, told them, you've been fighting for all this for 5 years. We're going to give you an opportunity. So I thought that was good. Shout out to Alpha Zoe, Illumide, and Chris Nasty being on Collision. They took on the House of Black, which I'm going to say this right here, the Melanin Mafia is a real House of Black. Hello. Battle of the Belts happened. If it's...
Might be the last Battle of the Belts ever. Historic.
Bro, like, why were non-title matches happening on Battle of the Belts? I thought it was supposed to be for championships.
Yeah, I think after barely even the first Battle of the Belts meant something, and it does seem like with the new television deal, they're going to be getting away with the Battle of the Belts stuff and even Rampage. So hopefully the minimizing of
Anna Jay wrestled Mariah May. It wasn't even for the title.
Title eliminator match.
If it's called Battle of the Belts, you should be wrestling for the championships. Jesus Christ. Like, I don't understand. Fuck. Kyle Fletcher, he did cool. They did a lot of Ring of Honor. Like, bro, like these shows run too long. Like, it's almost like 11. I get out the building at like 11:30. It's a school night. These kids got to go to school. Like, what are we doing?
I would like to know, who are these people watching Ring of Honor?
Bro, they are the diehards. They are the diehards that stayed. And then, they did a segment with Athena at the very end. Shout out to the boys that I just mentioned. Also, Bret the Threat and Jaya Jewel, they wrestled on Ring of Honor too. They were the extras in this little segment that'll air on Ring of Honor, celebrating Athena as the longest running women's champion. And this is the thing, bro, like, they need something. Like, I was listening to GP with Peter Rosenberg. What do you think about Ring of Honor being like their NXT? Develop talent.
I mean, I feel like it almost kind of is. It's like there's so many like ROH people like that just are on
though, like
AEW for. I just feel like ROH should just not really be a thing, because it's either it shouldn't be a thing, or Tony Khan should not put as much emphasis or as much attention on it. Like, have someone else. Have his own Shawn Michaels do that.
Let Christopher Daniels do it. Like let him really do it then. And then do you think, like, when the Max deal came, do you think he mentioned Ring of Honor?
I mean, who knows? I wouldn't be shocked if WBD's never even heard of Ring of Honor.
Bro, like, it just like, oh my God, what was his name? That passed away, the former
Joe Koff.
Yeah, the Sinclair COO. Yeah, RIP to him. They got Joe Chance over the past couple of days. Yeah, man, it's just like, apparently Athena's doing all this great work. Nobody's seen it. Nobody's seen it.
I mean, check the tape. I've been saying, where the hell's Athena on AEW?
You have literally every other Ring of Honor champion on there but her. I saw Mark Briscoe over he did some Ring of Honor tapings on a Wednesday night, so look forward to seeing that. Orange Cassidy, he wrestled 3 times. So did Kyle O'Reilly. Okada and Kyle O'Reilly, yeah. good match, but like you can tell Okada doesn't care.
Make your money, boo boo.
Like even at the end of like those long matches that everybody loves, didn't that Rainmaker look devastating? At like after he's gone like 40 minutes, didn't it look devastating?
I mean,
No, no,
it's a chicken or the egg thing. Is it Okada doesn't want to be there because of AW, or just Okada doesn't want to be there because he's at the end of his rope and he was gonna be this regardless? I don't know.
it's just like I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, back to the whole Ring of Honor thing. Like, if we can get it, like to like be like an NXT or something, like let people develop on there. Like that's where Billy Starks has kind of been doing her work. They're telling a good story with Billy Starks and Athena. They had a major advancement in that coming up with I mean, you'll if you watch Ring of Honor, you'll see it. But like, yeah, man, even just throw it up for free on YouTube. Like, do whatever you got to do to have people watch this stuff. Like, I think maybe do that. Throw it up for free on YouTube if you're not going to get a deal with Max. And then when it's time to have a pay-per-view, don't charge nothing crazy. Maybe charge $15. Like, hey, you can get this for $15. You can watch to see what's going on. You're like something, man. I don't know, bro. Like, just maybe WWE should have bought it, and then like they could have ran it in like they were doing the partnership with Evolve and gave Sapolsky and all that. Maybe they could have did something like that. I don't know. It's just. And then I heard the stat guy Greg on Cheap Eat say, what if Ring of Honor was kind of like an ECW one night stand? Like twice a year you put on a big ass super show. You get like some of the old names from back in the day.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I don't even know what cachet ROH has anymore. Like it's not the same. You don't have any big names because I mean, outside of Athena, everyone who's on ROH really is worth a damn is on AEW. Like if you want, yeah, treat it like ECW. Have it be its own thing once in a while. You have so many people linked to that company, and you can do like a weird like throwback show. You can have like, Adam Cole just like go back to what he was doing back in the day. You can do Christopher Daniels and all that other stuff, and like you can make it like a weird kooky like one-off show, like what like the WWE or like what TNA does. Like they do the like 80s like throwback episode or like pay-per-view sometimes. Do something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Big Time Wrestling, the 28th year anniversary is tonight. Please go over to the Newark Pavilion, show love. They do a great job over there. They really do. Let's talk about who is in action, who is going to be in attendance. You can see a lot of your favorite stars. The Flying Lion, Marcus Lewis defends the title against Aaron Solo. Sandra Moon, Harley Cameron, and Layla Gray will be in action. Titus Alexander takes on Alan Angels. Toa Leone and Ice Williams. QT Marshall and Starboy Charlie. Too Fresh versus Los Suavecitos versus Billy Gunn and the mystery partner. Jaya Jewel versus Jerry Gigolo, and so much more. You don't want to miss it. And then Saturday, GCW is going down. Game Changer Wrestling. I will be out and about in attendance for that. If you see me down in Los Angeles, pull up. It is going to be something. Blood in the Hills 3 is going to be a party. Come on now. Thank you all so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
You'll know your death is what I seek. Get up, this is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert,
This has been the Bullcast. Thank you for listening.